It came in the mail, and look how cool that is. Hey YouTube, welcome to the Kingdoms Trading Card Game YouTube channel. My name's Tyler, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. For those of you that keep in touch with the game, I've been reworking on all the starter decks, and the Cludes starter deck finally came in the mail. And so let's go ahead and jump into the content of the video where I show you what is inside. Alright, so here it is. Before I dig into the actual contents of the box, let's look at the outside of the box. So, as always, the deck boxes will always look the same. This is the Cludes starter deck, set to new designs, Kingdoms TCG. On the bottom, it shows you what platforms you can interact with the game for social media purposes, or for buying it, or for just interacting with the community. The Cludes flag is on the top, as well as on the one side, it will always tell you which kingdom it is with the flag, and then on the other side is the kingdom's logo with the spirit that the kingdom is a part of. And then on the back, I have photoshopped some art of the cards on the bottom. It tells you what is in the deck box, in this deck box, and every other starter deck that comes out. It's a 40 card pre-constructed deck with 5 sacreds. You have 1 Magicka tracker and 1 sacred health tracker. You have your rule book. You have a random rare or ultra rare Cludes card, and then you also get a random foil Cludes card. And let's read the lore on the back of this Cludes deck. Always on the move, the Kingdom of Cludes sets itself apart as a nomadic civilization. Located on the southern half of the Nivahé Peninsula, they traverse the open expanse, finding new sources of food and places they can call their temporary home. Unfortunately, their small size leaves them prone to abuse from a nearby kingdom. To respond, Cludes has to move frequently more and more, but from time to time, they find ways to settle the score. So let's go ahead and see what's inside. Now, for those of you that are familiar with the Game Crafter does not organize cards in the deck box, so I went ahead and organized this for the purpose of the video. So, as always, your starter deck will come with the newly made rule book, and if there's ever some rule questions that you have, you can always go to the Discord. There are channels for that talk about specific ruling situations, or any updates and changes that have not yet made it into a newly made rule book. Okay, let's go ahead and on the, I don't want to show that yet. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So in the Cludes starter deck, you will start, you know what, I will set this to the side because it'll make it a little bit easier. You start with 3 Garment Makers. Garment Maker is a cost 5 phase 1, silence 1. While on the field, Cludes battle cards have plus 200, and this is a 200 battle card. Now all the starter decks are being remade so that they are more competitively viable. Now you still don't have all the cards that are available, but this version of the Cludes starter deck is much better out of the box, and I'm really excited to see how this one performs against other starter decks right out of the box. So again, the starter deck comes with 3 Garment Makers. Next, the deck comes with 3 Nomadic Soldiers. Nomadic Soldier is a 300, cost 5 phase 1. With the ability Silence 1, Gift 1. So just kind of a standard phase 1 Cludes battle card. And so you have 3 of those. Next, you run 2 Enei the Scoutsmen. Enei the Scoutsman is a awesome card. This card allows you to combine 2 other cards for 1 attack, and then he adds an additional 200 to that. So if you had 4 battle cards out on the field and then you played him, you could combine each of those pairs of 2 to have some dynamic attacks and some big swings. And so there are 2 of those in this deck. Next, you get 1 Resource Manager. This card is amazing. It's cost 4 phase 2, gift 3. Marif battle cards cost -1 Magicka, and Marif spells cost -2 Magicka while this card is out on the field and it has 100 health. So this card will be a target, but because you do have Silence and other cards might be a little bit better, that they might ignore this one because it's not dealing so much damage. Next, in terms of neutrals, there are 3 Temple Teachers in this deck. If you're familiar with the game, you know this card very well, but this is just a great card draw card, and it's also a great way just to make some other cards better if you don't really want to draw another card. And so there are 3 of those in this starter deck. Next, there are 3 Training Masters in this deck. This is a excellent phase 2 battle card. Cost 5, 400, and then it says when called to the field, give a battle card plus 100. So this is just a great, it's just a great 400, and then it can make another card better, and so there are 3 of those to help give you that attacking ability. Next, to continue to give you the attacking ability, there is a phase 3 cost 7 veteran soldier that has 600 attack, 600 health. Again, just kind of a standard vanilla battle card, but hey, 600 attack is 600 attack, and this is perfect in the Cludes deck, which might sometimes lack in the attacking department. Bison Herd comes in this deck, and there's only one of those, and this gives you 3 magicka and has 500 health. And so people sometimes ignore this because it has a lot of health and it has no attack. And so sometimes they are okay with the fact that a battle card is giving you a magicka. Next, just for some beefiness in this deck, there is one Mighty War Elephant. You do have to discard 2 cards, but this has 800 attack and 100 health. So kind of a good card to maybe keep you in the game a little bit longer, just in case. And then lastly, in terms of battle cards, there is one Ula the Rebel. And this is just a great way to hopefully keep you back in the game if you need some help getting back into the game. Okay, so now for the spells, there are 2 Tribal Bonds. Tribal Bond is a spell that costs 3 magicka. It says you have +1 magicka your next turn and your opponent has -2 magicka. And it says any Cludes battle cards on the field gain +100. +100. And so this is great because there are a decent amount of Cludes battle cards in this deck, and so this is a great way to modify them and make them better. Next, you have 1 successful hunt. This is one of the best card draw spells in the game. It says draw a card for every Cludes card on the field and every Mriff card in your hand. And so if you have expelled all your resources, this is maybe a great way to get back in the game and get some cards in your hand, and there is 1 of those. There is 1 Nomadic Lifestyle. Cost 6, it says hand size is increased by 2, which is great if you play successful hunt. You can draw 2 cards, but then you have -3 magicka next turn, but it also says Mriff battle cards cost -1 magicka this turn. So even though the spell does cost a lot, you can still do some really good plays with this card, and so there is 1 of those in this deck. Next, in terms of neutral spells, there are 3 unknown powers. This simply just says give a target battle card +200 attack, and this only costs 2 magicka. So this is kind of giving you the ability to get the edge over your opponents that you might not have. Now, all of the starter decks for a while, I was trying to put the same cards in all of them in terms of neutral cards, but I just found that some of the kingdoms benefited from others while others were hurt. And so the Silvermore starter deck, I can't remember off the top of my head, either doesn't at all or just comes with 1 copy of Glass. Cludes comes with 2 of them. This is a secret spell that costs 7. And it says when a friendly battle card is destroyed by battle, reveal this card. Your opponent takes damage to their revealed sacred equal to the attack value of their attacking battle card. So there are some cards in this game that have in this deck that have a high amount of health. So if you're able to do this, you could send a lot of attacking damage towards your opponent's sacred. So that is Glass. Because you might run out of resources, I did put 2 reshuffles in this starter deck. And this just simply says draw 3 random cards from your graveyard and shuffle them back into your fortress. And this is just in case you're running low on your deck, you can put some cards back in your deck. And so there are 2 copies of those. And then lastly is the card Aura of Peace. This is cost 5. It says target battle card remains on the field but cannot be targeted by any spells, be attacked, attack, or be used to play a legend for 2 turns. I could see this being a good card, for example, for like Resource Manager, because you want him to stay on the field and you don't want him getting attacked because he's just like a great card to have on the field. Or this might be even a good card for Garment Maker or even Eni the Scoutsman, because he'll continually set up some good attack plays. In terms of spirits, there are 2 Plumellas, Voice to the Pure. Its instant ability is draw a card for each friendly Sacred Phase 1 battle card that's on the field. And then this also says all players draw a card for Impact 1 or Impact 4, draw a card. So this is just a great card draw spirit. This allows you to dig into your deck like you need to. And again, if you start running out of cards, you can play Reshuffle. In terms of tokens, there is 2 Fabric of Religions, cost 2, gift 1, draw a card. So some good card draw ability there. You get 2 Trembledore Roots. This is a cost 1, gift 1, any spirit specific spell that you play costs -1 magicka. So this is great because there are quite a few spirit specific spells in this game, and so it's good to have 2 of those. And because there's 4 tokens and a 5th one, Nanny Goat actually becomes really good. Whoops, I continue to hit the camera. Nanny Goat, this was the first card that I ever made based off of a person. This was a nickname given to my wife from her young sister while she was a baby. And so yeah, that's this card. This card is very good. It costs 2 magicka. It gives you 3 magicka, so that's pretty good. And then the only side effect is that you have to send a couple cards to the Forgotten from your fortress, depending on what sacred phase you are in. But because you have 4 other tokens in this deck, if you're maybe able to get this one out and then maybe Fabric of a Religion, you could send some of those other tokens from your graveyard to the Forgotten to get some extra magicka bonus that turn. Now, in terms of sacreds for this particular deck, every Cludes starter deck will come with the following sacreds: Amber Monument, Desert Plains. People aren't familiar with this one, so I'll read it. Players may only call 2 battle cards per turn when the sacred is revealed, regardless of card effect or ability. So this could be kind of a good shutdown towards your opponent. Tribal Wagons. For impact 4, you may search your fortress for a Cludes card and put it in your hand. The Central Palace. Instead of drawing 1 card for your draw phase, you may draw 2. If you do, all players immediately draw a card. And so there's a lot of card draw in this deck, and so that's why I put in the reshuffle in there. I thought was important. And then Cattle Farm. This gives you 2 magicka, and your opponent can deny that. So I could see someone looking at this deck and saying, I might struggle with magicka, but I think like even putting Cattle Farm in there and Amber Monument, that gives you a little bit of magicka. Some of those tokens make cards that cost a little bit cheaper. Nanny Goat helps you get around that. And then there's a couple of your spells or battle card abilities that give you the ability to get some extra magicka or make cards cheaper. So those are the 5 sacreds. What order you want to run those in, I'll leave that up to you, but I have seen the best version of a Cludes deck that I have ever seen. Obviously has different cards in the deck, but they always run this card as their phase 1 because they want to search for specific cards in their deck before they get launched in phase 2. As always, every starter deck comes with its Sacred Health Tracker and Magicka Health Tracker. And then unique to this deck, because every starter deck comes with a random rare or ultra rare of that kingdom. And this particular starter deck came with another Enai the Scoutsman. So I definitely will be substituting one of the battle cards in this starter deck out with this Enai the Scoutsman. So I was really excited to see that. And then this I was really excited for. I'm curious, if you are familiar with the Kingdom of Cludes, drop in the comments below before you watch this reveal, what card you think I possibly got in the foil edition. Every starter deck comes with a random foil card that's part of the kingdom, and this starter deck came with the foil version of Pillage. Now this is really cool because this deck does not actually come with the card Pillage at all. So it's cool that we got a card that we don't even have in the deck. And again, this is a foil version of the card. Hopefully you can kind of see some of that sheen on there. If you're not familiar with the card Pillage, it is a cost 0 spell, and it says discard 2 cards and receive +5 magicka this turn. Your opponent has -2 magicka next turn. So this is a great way to get some magicka and hurt your opponent, which is perfect. And that is the Cludes starter deck, which again is available on the Game Crafter. Link is in the description box below. I want to thank you guys again so much for watching this video. I'm curious, drop any thoughts you have of the starter deck, the look of the starter deck, or the content inside the starter deck. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I do want to end this video with a Bible talk. This year, my goal is to read the book of Ecclesiastes and study it a lot. Now, I might say the book of Ecclesiastes, and if you're a Christian, you might even hear that, like, the book of what? It's a book that not only a lot of people talk about, and it's not a book that a lot of people read, but over the last couple of years of my life, I have grown to have a really fond love of the book. And one thing that this book talks about a lot, and I might have talked about this before for Bible Talk with the Kingdoms YouTube channel, is that at the end of the day, we have all these things in life that we absolutely love doing, but our whole purpose in life is to love God, be His children, and serve Him. So I just want to encourage you to look at your life and the way we're living our lives and ask ourselves, is there more that I should be doing to be living as a son or a daughter of God? Or are there things in my life that are not allowing me to live in that way? Anything that I want you to know about is in the description box below. And whatever time of the day that you're watching this, whether it be the morning, evening, or night, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks.